Hey, 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 hey. Wow. Are you guys tired yet? Oh my word. What a day it's been, man. I'm telling you guys, we're living in a period now in just the simming world that you can't ask for nothing else right now. You just can't. We're so blessed to have what we have, man. Me and my man Blue. Blue texted me at 6 o'clock in the morning, goes, "Hey man, get up. Time to go to work. We gotta go do some stuff." And we've been up since 6 this morning, Blue, right?
Oh, I've
Have
been
you?
up since 5.
Oh my God.
Because your
Actually,
time was 6, my time was. I actually woke
yeah.
up at 4:30 this morning, my local time, getting ready for the Fenix. Yeah, like I feel like our regular jobs are getting in the way of our simming at this point.
My boss is watching. We're joking. Hey, man, I'm telling you, it's true, true, true. I
It's
feel
been a
like it
long
is.
day.
It's been a long day, guys. You have to understand that real quick before we get into anything. We basically got the airplane this morning, 6 in the morning. So we had to get it, activate it, download it, set it up, check it, make sure it runs, and do a live stream all in a couple hours, right?
Yeah.
And for a plane that you already know, it takes an hour. This is a brand new plane to us. We don't know it. We don't know what to do. Luckily, let me shout out to Fenix Sim first before we go into things. Fenix Sim, shout out to you guys for just dropping this in our laps and also providing the support needed to get your issues worked out or whatever it is you had questions about. And they're still doing it right now.
Yeah.
As you guys know, they're in the Fenix Discord. They're just communicating every 5 minutes. Anything anybody come up with, any problem they're addressing. So Fenix, Amir, all the team over there. Oh wow! Thank you guys so much for dropping this plan in the community and for dropping it in our laps. We appreciate it definitely.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like nobody really let's start off with the release date or the lack of release date for
Yep.
for this
Yeah.
plane. It came from, hey, this could come out any day now, to, hey, it's releasing in an hour, at least for the public. And then for us, we got it a few hours early, which again, I'm thankful and blessed, for that. But even us as streamers, we had very little time, before that we knew we were going to even get a preview copy of it, right? So
Yep.
everybody's super excited about this aircraft, and so a lot of us were able to move around schedules if possible. I do feel bad for those who did get a preview but just happened to be busy today, and then was like, well, dang, now it's everybody got it, so I feel that pain. I've been a part of deals like that before in the past with Flight Sim and other games as well. But yeah, man, this plane, I don't know where to start. When I started my stream today, I was at a loss for words. I mean, I was just speechless. What about you?
Yeah. You know, not a lot of moments in your life you get your dream come true, right? And you've thought about having the right plane in a beautiful sim that just works. We have had to deal with Microsoft for the last couple of years, and it's growing pains with them, good and bad. One day I talk good about them, the next day I'm like, nah, they suck. You know what I mean? But then comes one plane a couple weeks ago, and then comes this one. And this one is like, hey, watch this, hold my beer, because we're gonna do everything right. And I was like, all right, fine. I've watched a couple of guys stream it. All the beta people stream the airplane. But once you get your hands on it, you go, okay, let me really see if what they're showing us is right or real. And what they have shown, as a matter of fact, having it in your hands just revealed to you even deeper about the things you could do with this airplane. And I haven't even scratched the surface yet. And I did 3 legs today.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to do things in this plane. I mean, the EFB alone, which we're going to talk about, deserves its own 1 hour stream. Honestly, shout out to Katie Pilot, who was responsible for this EFB, because man, if this was a dude who designed this thing, it wouldn't look this good or work this
Whoa,
properly.
whoa, whoa.
It is so
Whoa.
it is so functional but aesthetically pleasing the
Yeah.
way it's been done. Nothing wasted, no wasted space, no wasted crap. It's just straight to the point. But I'm feeling good about this release. I'm feeling good about this plane, the performance of it, the handling of it, based on what I've felt, and just watching other people fly it. You know what I mean, and talk about what's in it that I haven't even checked out yet. I'm good. Maybe Blue, we need to start having these out of 10 release. So like when a new plane drops, right? We need to give it like a marking out of 10 on the release. What's the release of this plane? What's the rating of the release? So we can rate that by promises delivered or not delivered,
Yeah.
support delivered or not delivered, you know, just the smoothest or not smoothest. So I'm gonna say right now, I've been monitoring the Fenix chat on this plane and just see if people are having issues or not having issues on their Discord. And just the fact that the dev team is in the Discord addressing people's issues minute by minute, giving out advice, I know other people, that's right there. So I'm gonna say this release to me is like a 9 out of 10, man. I don't know if anything deserves a 10 out of 10, but this was like good and handled well.
Yeah.
And having to be able to fly it, I could tell you that. I'm talking about, real quick, let me just say it, 3 legs, no restarts of the simulator, no re-download of anything, just turn around and go. 1, 2, 3. I can't beat that. Definitely.
Yeah,
Can't
I
beat
mean,
that.
there's a lot of, and we've been saying this multiple times, but we've had a lot of releases where things didn't work the way they were supposed to work. And the fact that, you were able to jump on day one and do 3 flights back to back without restarting your simulator, like that shows just how successful and how complete the aircraft is on day one.
Yep. Yep. That was a stress test for me. It's like, all right, let's see if it's gonna. Sometimes you have a payware airplane and you put in the FMC, you fill it out, you land, and you go do something again. You start noticing little things don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Little switches stop working, or there's a hiccup. No hiccup after 3 legs. 1, 2, 3, and no sim restarts. The only thing I didn't do today was play replay because I know replay can cause bugs in the airplane once you run it.
Yeah,
And I just say, you know what?
that was my mistake today.
Oh,
I
wow.
only did 2 legs, but I was just so excited about seeing the aircraft that I wanted to watch the replay. I usually, when I do multiple legs, I will skip replays in the middle, and I'll only do them at the end. But today I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna do it, and I wouldn't say it added any bugs to it, but I did decide to restart or go back to the main menu and come back in for my second leg because I was noticing some really weird stuff going on with the aircraft after coming out of replay mode.
Right. Hmm. Yeah, now it does it, and I think the replay developer will update his replay product so that it works better with Microsoft and these add-on planes. I mean, these add-on planes are already complex enough as it is,
Yeah.
so they got to get a hold of it and do what they got to do. So yeah, I'm happy with that, man. I mean, where do I start with this plane? Texturing. Let's start with texturing on the plane, on this first impression. I've had a chance to look over the cockpit more and more, and every time I look, I see another smudge somewhere. I see another. If you look in the cockpit below the master caution warning, it's just a worn spot. You can see how much time they've pressed that button, right? You
Uh-huh.
know, if you look at the scratches where they put their pen in and out of the holder on the windowsill, it's just like, yeah, they've used this plan. If you look down at the center pedestal right beside the speed brake handle, that's a lot of a palm print on that thing that wore off it to the green paint. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And the center pedestal gathers dirt and spilled coffee and all kinds of stuff, and it just looked grimy and dark. I love that in an airplane that it actually looks used. Shiny, brand new is cool. Used for some reason rings to me better, so just from a texture and perspective, the cockpit is looking great, and then what's even better, the damn cabin looks good too.
It really
I'm trying to
does.
rate this cabin about all the cabins I've seen in sim, and I'm trying to see where this ranks up, and I gotta tell you, man, with or without the light off in this cabin, and the fact that the seatbelt sign works, the no smoking sign works. Somebody pointed out to me in my stream, they goes, hey, if you look at the creases in the seat back, they're not all the same.
Hmm.
So they have randomized the creases in the seat back pocket. You know what I mean? The only complaint I have with cabin, that carpet looks too brand new. Because
Whatever.
the airplane, but it looks good. It
You
is like
gotta
you can
you
see the
gotta give some
clean through
credit to the
carpet.
cleaning crew though. I mean, not every
There
plane
you
is
go.
is
I know.
not every
Yeah.
plane is filthy, especially in the cabin.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But that's what it is. If you guys are hearing an echo on my voice, let me know. No echo for you. Okay, good.
Nah, you're good. You're
So
good to me
yeah, yeah.
too.
So yeah, so graphically, it represents very, 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 very well in Microsoft Flight Sim. And we've seen plenty of Airbuses, man. I
Oh,
mean, we've
so
seen
many Airbuses. Oh my
uh,
gosh.
Flight Factor, TOLIS, Fly-by-Wire,
Jar
JAR.
design.
Yeah, we've seen a
Mm.
lot of them. Yeah, yep, that's it, man. So yeah, that is step one. You know, step two, and I'm saving the best one for last. Honestly, I don't know why I'm so stuck on the EFB, but we'll get there in a sec because we're going to talk about it. Step two for me is clicking the switches in this thing and knowing that the aircraft is designed to basically all these switches damn work. It gives you that extra sense of this aircraft is substantial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is substantial. It's just hovering your mouse over the circuit breaker panel and realize you can manipulate some of these things is scary. So one misclick in the cockpit during your stream, and you have a failure, my friend.
That
You know what I
reminds
mean?
me, there's a button that I wanted to press. I'm not sure if it's simulated. There was a button in the EFB called emergency something. Did you press that button?
No, I have not. I have not pressed
Well,
that button,
I will
bro.
make sure to do that very soon.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You know what I mean? You know, um, I forgot to even mention, man, not even mention the tray table that comes out and work and makes noise.
Yep.
But the observer seat or the jump seat, that thing squeaks like you know what when you deploy it. You could
Mm-hmm.
hear the headrest going up and down on that. It's so silly. I mean, this little things, yeah, But yep, that is the second thing I noticed. But let's get to the hard for me. I've always said, all right, airplanes, Boeing's make you do a lot of work.
Yeah.
You work for it and you get satisfaction for it. Airbus, you're like, well, once you program the MCDU, you're good to go. You just, get up and go. But this one, because of the EFB and the built-in performance, departure perf and arrival perf, and the built-in Navigraph and the built-in sim brief, I feel like my workload doubled on this airplane. Like you can't fake anything on it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you get that feeling?
Uh, like, what do you mean you can't fake anything exactly?
Well, like a lot of the previous Airbuses, you just click on the soft key and it populates a number for you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like you have to
Right.
actually manually put in the zero fuel weight and CG. That's
Right.
what you're talking about.
Right. This
Yeah.
makes you feel a little bit more part of the setup process. I heard V1 Sim was saying that they don't put in VSPs at their airline. They send that through either ACARS or something, and that uploads in the airplane.
Really?
But having to do it here, and actively go back and forth between the MCDU and the EFB, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the integration that they have where, and the departure and perf page just shows you the right. It just, I don't know. I'm still at a loss of words. Just okay. It's the first MCDU we have had that you could do your perf calculation for, including your flex temperature and not fake the flex temperature. There's other programs external off these airplanes that you can download to get performance like TopCat and some other ones that people sent me.
Mm-hmm.
This one is built into the airplane. So, people usually ask you, hey, where'd you get your flex temp from? I'm like, I'll just do 45, because it's level.
that's,
Now,
that's my number.
this
I
one,
always use 45 on the flex.
exactly. This one, you're not using 45 on the flex. You're using whatever the aircraft tells you based on your weight. You understand? So, and you can sync your load sheet into it, set up your runways, tell it if you want to pax on, pax off takeoff, if you want to do toga, the config flap, if flap one or optimal or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You can sync the live weather into it and give you the wind direction altimeter settings, right? And then you hit the calculate button. It gives you flaps, flex temps, V1, V2, and VR. You understand? So V1, VR, and V2. That's one thing, and that's just the takeoff, the departure perf. The arrival perf. Something happened to me today.
Uh-oh, what
Coming in on the
happened?
arrival perf. Go to the arrival screen. If you look at it,
I'm on it.
it shows you the ICAO code of the airport you're going into, and then the runway. and you click the condition. It says dry, good, good, medium, poor, or whatever. I click dry. Okay, no problem. I hit it, and you can set the auto brake also. What kind of auto brake you're using? Auto brake low? I hit auto brake low because that's what I've always used. I've never had a chance to use medium. Immediately told me, bro, you don't want to go auto brake low. On the right side, when you populate all that stuff, what's going to pop up is a line that shows you where the aircraft is going to stop, and the distance to the end that says, no, you're going to do that. Give you the landing distance, the landing whatever. It tells you basically you need. So I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This runway is going to be too short for our load and weight and speed. So I selected auto brakes to medium. Immediately change it, goes, you're green, you're good to go. You can use medium.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes. So those two things alone is worth it, worth the wait and go. And as Slam Cannon in chat reminded me, you can also get this on an external iPad.
Yes, so where's my iPad? I think mine's in the charger because it's dead from today's stream. But yeah, I was actively using my actual iPad in place of the EFB in the sim, and I was like, this is honestly one of, I mean, there's a lot of great things about this plane, but this is one of my favorite features. And as a streamer, I try to use more in-game stuff to show people, I think it's a better user experience for people to watch me use the in-game stuff. But if I'm flying on my own, like for me or for the pilot, it's much more convenient to actually be able to just open up your iPad and go through the EFB or get the numbers from the EFB, drop it into the MCDU or whatever it is, so you don't have to take your eyes away from in front of you or from whatever. It's easier to multitask that way. But also, if you don't have a second device, you could also mirror this EFB on a second monitor or something like that. Like, I just think that's really cool, and I know it's probably not even that difficult to do, and I think that other people who have EFBs in their aircraft can see like, oh wow, why didn't we think to do that? This is probably, I'm not saying it is easy, I'm not a developer, I don't know, I just assume that it doesn't seem like that.
The flight factor allowed you to do that.
Did they?
Back in the day? Yeah, they did. I used it a couple times and stopped. But that's good. Also, I found out today about the EFB. It's actually two independent EFBs. So you could do different things on both of them at the same time.
What do you mean?
Then
like on the other side?
Yes, you can. Two different things. And also, your iPad, it's a third EFB. So it's almost like, I'm not sure if you have unlimited EFBs, but you can have different things in all the different open screens that are EFBs running.
So you're saying, because in the aircraft, it has an EFB on the left and an EFB on the right, and you're saying that you could basically on the first officer side, you could have like the Navigraph page pulled up, and then on the left one, you could have like the arrival page pulled up,
right,
and actively use both of them. I didn't think to try that, but that's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of hard to to do because it's so far away from you. I mean, if in the future when this plane hopefully gets like shared cockpit or something like that, that'd be super helpful for independent controls and stuff like that. But yeah, that's really cool. I didn't think about that.
Dan Cath in chat says FS Lab been there, done that. See, we never had the pleasure of flying the FS Lab.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't been there.
We haven't been there. So what happened? How I found this out today is that I hit the reset button on the iPad, and it reset it, and then it was on the Fenix screen alone. It wouldn't come up. And somebody's like, "Why don't you just plug out the power cord and plug it back in?" I did that, and it came back up after a reset. The others were working except the one. So, and that's right. It charges. Like if you unplug it, it starts draining the battery. And I almost ran out of power today. I had to plug it back in.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yes.
Are you one of those people who likes to charge your phone at like 2%?
5%. Yeah. Yes, you can open it in a web browser, Uranium. You can definitely open up the EFB in a web browser.
Yeah.
And for Benny, you were talking about your throttle setup. If you're using the Thrustmaster, it's all done in the FMC. Once you open up the first page, there's a button called Config at the right side, bottom right, and then bottom left you can config the controls. You can config the throttle, and then on the next page you can config the side stick.
Yeah.
And so you can config those things. Um,
And
there is
your flaps need to be calibrated as
your
well.
flaps. There you go. There is a FS Labs install other things. I'm not going to say, oh boy. There is a thing right now, the Thrustmaster. I think it's a Microsoft thing, where, and it did it with the fly-by-wire as well, where the crank switch, the start crank switch will go back and forth on and off. It got me today. So you're going to have to disable that in the options. You're going to delete 7 and 8 key from the throttle quadrant if you have the Thrustmaster TCA for Airbus, and everything else works fine. So that it got me today.
Yeah, I do recommend that you make a new profile for this, because you don't want to. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I have this plane, I'm never going to touch the fly-by-wire. Well, you don't know that, right? Fly-by-wire is in itself its own aircraft. So I would recommend, whenever making adjustments to your controls, make sure you go back and, you know, duplicate your throttle setup for fly-by-wire, and then make a new one for the Fenix.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I've gone ahead and done that. Um, so if you're having issues with the throttle quadrant, by the way, so somebody in chat said they're having issues. There's detailed instructions on the Fenix Discord. They've actually showed you what to do in it, how to set it up. I had to go into Microsoft because Microsoft had some kind of funky curve set up in the what do you call that now? In the sensitivity settings of Microsoft.
Yeah.
I had to go and just straighten those out to zero out everything. So, it is good. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Aaron, welcome aboard. First time to the Blu-XPerience. You guys flying or just chatting? Yeah, we're chatting about it. We flew earlier today, Anon. We both had it this morning, flying a couple of legs at least. And we're just going over and discussing what our initial impressions of the aircraft
It's kind of, to be honest, today's stream, because we both did streams earlier today, flying this plane on multiple routes. This podcast, even though it's release day, we're talking about our first impressions, what we think about it, what we like, what we dislike, but it also kind of feels like a debrief of of our flights and of our first experiences with this aircraft. Again, we were not a part of the original beta team, right? We just got it, again, only a few hours actually before you guys are able to get it. And so this is, we're still very new to it as well, but we've learned a lot of things just in a short period of time. Again, like you mentioned earlier, a big hats off and salute to the Fenix developers and their team, because again, I have never seen support the way they've done it. I mean, they've had guys just on standby waiting for questions, even for us as streamers. Even before the public release, we had a whole different Discord channel of all the streamers, and they had a couple guys and they're just like, yeah, let me help you set up your throttle, let me show you how to fix this, fix that. And I was like, wow, I've never had this before. So it's, and I think we talk a lot about texturing, artwork, flight model, gameplay, stuff like that. But one thing I think we don't talk about, which I think is often forgotten and overlooked, is customer support. Right? I don't think in 2022 you should have to go to a forum to get an answer about, a simple throttle issue. Right, like you shouldn't have to do that, especially not in the hype of the aircraft just coming out. Like, I understand if it's like been 6 years since it's been out, you know what I mean, the question's been answered 60 times, 600 times, then yeah, it's good to go ahead and post a frequently asked questions somewhere on your website. Yeah, I get that. But if you have a brand new aircraft, you should have a team of support staff on standby, not that you can email, but are literally like on Discord. Like, literally you can talk to these people. Another person I will salute is Hot Start in the Challenger 650. He did a very similar thing, and this is not about him, but on first week, him and a lot of the developers who were helping him were all in a Discord chat. He was doing like daily like Q&As on Discord, and people would join in and he would just explain and break down. I mean, because that plane is so complex, but he would just explain and like, you really got a good hold of it, and you got your questions answered. You could literally talk to the main developer, and he'd be like, yeah, this is what was happening, this is why I did this is how this works, this is what we plan to do in future releases. And I get that same similar vibe with Fenix. They got people dedicated just to helping you figure out how to fix your throttle, for example, why is it that when you load into the sim the wheels are gone? Don't know, but they could probably answer that question for you. But so it's really dope that they have that, and I think again when it comes to support of a new aircraft, especially one that you're paying for. I know this one is not as expensive as others, but I don't think that a higher price should make. I don't think that should make a difference on whether or not you can support your buyers.
Yep. Yeah. Support should be just good all the way across the board if you're going to offer a payware airplane.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's true. Somebody just asked real quick because you got to put your pilot ID, your SimBrief ID in
Yep.
the MCDU. If you go to SimBrief, click on account, then click on SimBrief data. The pilot ID is going to be there for you guys to pop in. I had to search for it this morning too myself when I was loading up the airplane. But having the integration with both of those things are so cool. It's just I can't tell you, just having the integration with SimBrief is just a game changer. Navigraph's integration as well.
So
I'm loving
SimBrief,
that.
I mentioned this in my stream. Why is it that developers are telling us that it's either difficult or not possible to integrate to SimBrief when Fenix is like, well, hold my beer, let me show you. It is possible. Like I don't know. I mean, I'm not calling anybody out specifically, but I just noticed that we've had a few aircraft that come out and they have us, importing the old school way, which is where you use a SimBrief downloader. You take these files, you put them in a specific place, and again, SimBrief makes it much easier because they have the downloader now. But still, you got to place a file somewhere, and then you got to go and. But Fly-by-Wire is doing it, right? Fenix is doing it now. The Salty Sim is doing it. We can automatically import your old flight plan. So why is that so difficult?
Well, I was gonna say that I don't know if SimBrief charges for that, but when I thought about it, I'm like, why would they? I mean, you're gonna have to get it. Well, it's free anyway, so it's good to have the integration. It's good to just turn around, look at your EFB, and it's all there. You don't have to go scramble for another window back in the background where you can't share it with the audience as quickly as you could just scroll over to the EFB and show it. So it would be nice, man. Those are the little things that right now has set this launch so good for me. It's the little things, bro. It's the
Yeah.
little things. And that's one of those things that, that counts for a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's talk about FPS. What's your frame situation like on your stream on this one?
My FPS, to be honest with you, was not the greatest. But I also probably set myself up for failure today. I loaded up in LaGuardia on an overcast, rainy day. And on a clear day, I'm getting like 30 FPS in New York. You know what I mean? Like, I said, I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I was like, I want to fly Delta. I LaGuardia. I don't know. So my personal experience wasn't the best. I had pretty low FPS, as everyone saw on my stream. It got better once I got in the air. And it seemed to depend a lot on the scenery I was at. Because when I got to Charlotte, which is my last stop today, it was much better, a lot better, and a lot smoother. Still wasn't the best, but a lot smoother. So I mean, I guess they can still do some optimization. Again, I'm running the same settings as I did with all the other aircraft I've been flying, with the PMDG, with the fly-by-wire. I haven't changed anything in my settings just to see how it matches up to my other aircraft.
Yeah, I did, I don't, when I'm not streaming, my FPS is good. When I start streaming, it's almost like the PC goes, "Oh, okay, you're trying to do multiple things at the same time." And
But
so
are you
I
still
turned
streaming from a second computer, or are you using all on one?
no, no, all at once. I went away from the two PC setup to a single PC. Maybe I might go back. You know what I mean? Maybe I might go back, and that's what it is. I mean, somebody said today something in my chat. They were like, "How is it that the 30 series graphics card is not doing that much better than a 1080 Ti?" I don't know. It depends because you're looking at it, but I think it's how we all turn up our graphics up or down. I'm running medium to high settings right now in a lot of stuff because the one thing I hate is stuttering coming into the airport, and that's a Microsoft issue, by the way. You coming into an airport and it starts to load up on you, you're going to get those stutters, those jitteries, and that throws off your landing tremendously, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not good for landing. You know what I mean? So, yeah. a lot of factoids in the chat here, real quick. Captain Sazman says PMDG plans to do integration and ACARs through their own gateway platform, which is called PMDG Global Flight Operations. So it's a slow development. So that's why that's not there yet.
I see.
I got you. SimBrief integration is possible if the software is running out of Microsoft. Those not using it cause they're using it inside the systems to port to Xbox because they don't allow external software. Okay, I see. So he was answering somebody's question here. Fenix advantage is that they program everything externally from Microsoft, which saved them a lot of time. Other devs chose to do it as much as possible in the native sim, which means waiting for a Osobo. See, yeah, I guess that's the advantage of doing it outside. That's why. That's the one thing, by the way, I have to explain to you guys who don't have the airplane. I didn't realize that you actually do have to have the Fenix app running in the background to have the airplane work. I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I turned it on this morning and been using it since. And then I closed everything down and came back to it, and it wouldn't come up or work. There's an app in the background that has to be run, and from that app, you can choose performance type. You can do display performance, to quality or balance or performance mode. You can render your displays from the cockpit through your GPU or your onboard graphics card or whatever. You know what I mean? So you have options to do it in there, and just some more settings you have to go. So those are the things. Well, let's talk about this. We're not real world pilots, but what did you think about the handling, takeoff, pull, and then landing on the runway? What did you think about the handling of the airplane from a simmer's perspective?
I think it's, for me at least in my experience today, it was more challenging than any other airliner on Microsoft Flight Sim. And I feel like it should be that way. I've always felt that it's been too easy to land.
Right.
Taking off is always easy, right? It's nothing to, you just push the throttle forward, pull the nose up, you're off the ground, right? Landing is kind of where you really get to feel how the aircraft handles. And I've always felt that Microsoft Flight Sim, even though I really enjoy it, I've always felt that it always felt just too easy. Like, it was just too easy to butter. Back on the X-Plane, I had to work for it. I don't know about you.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I got to work for it on X-Plane. And so you get a different satisfaction when you put that thing down. You get, sub 100, sub 200, landing rate. You're like, yeah, there we go. You know what I mean? But on Microsoft Flight Sim, you're like, okay, that was butter, but we floated half the runway. So it's always felt light, too light to me. Even when you have a heavy aircraft, it still felt too light. And with this aircraft, I feel like it actually feels like it has some weight to it. And that's kind of been one of my complaints and things on my wish list with aircraft and how developers been developing these planes is to just have more weight, to feel like you're actually in, like, you're not just floating through the airwaves, but you're actually carrying 100,000 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, you look at the zero fuel weights on these aircraft, we're like 100,000, 200,000 pounds sometimes, and you feel like you're flying in a Honda Civic. So it's yeah, so I think it feels much better. I think I smashed my landings today, and I am not ashamed to say it, because I know that when I was flying, flaring and whatnot, I was flying as if I was flying in the fly-by-wire or some of the other planes where I kind of force the aircraft down because it doesn't want to go down. This aircraft is like, yeah, we're going down, let's go, right? So yeah, what do you think?
Takeoff for me, V1 and pullback had that smooth feeling, like, okay. And I've flown the jar where you go to turn and the airplane it's just like flying, like, how should I say? I don't know. It's like notchy, or this was smooth. It was always smooth in the turns. You could modulate it in the takeoff, pullback. It was always smooth. And then the best part for me, and why I had, luckily, I don't know how this happened, I had 3 good landings today. The last one was the best out of all 3.
Like, that's never happened in XP history.
Never happened. Just one landing alone and it's bad, right? Much less 3. So, but is because I felt what the aircraft felt like on that final touchdown in Microsoft Flight Sim. There's usually something weird going on where it will either float, as you said, or just literally the bottom falls out and it just drops on the runway. I could fly this airplane right down to the ground. I could pull back in the flare, and the nose responded the way I feel it should. I'm not a pilot, but the nose responded, so I was able to modulate the nose and the main gear going down. And that for me made me trust the airplane and go, okay, I can execute this landing because it's going to respond like that. And it did. And it gave me the confidence after the first time, go, okay, so whatever voodoo they did to get that performance out of Microsoft Flight Sim, because I could tell you it is this much close to X-Plane 11 now. So far, I'm thinking back to the Flight Factor A320 and the Toluses. This is that much close to how fluid they feel, because X-Plane still feels more fluid than Microsoft. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sticking to that. But it felt good, and they did a wonderful job, man. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that because I've had questions today as well, and it's kind of inevitable. I know people don't want to really compare flight sims in this case. Like, all right, what's better, the Tolus or the Fenix, or the Flight Factor, the Fenix? And it's like you can't really compare because they're in two different sims with two different environments and two different flight models, right? But at the same time, we can't help but to compare because that's all we know, right?
Yeah.
When you come from X-Plane, you're used to how the Flight Factor feels. You're used to how the Tolus feels, how it handles, how even flying the A319 versus the 21, you feel the difference between the two when landing. And so when you come from X-Plane or even P3D and you go into Microsoft Flight Sim, you start to feel those differences. So how do you feel? I mean, I guess you kind of just explained it. You still feel like it's that much closer to how you remember X-Plane feeling. Not saying it's better, not saying, it's whatever, but it's like it's getting closer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump in that Flight Factor A320 again because that was my favorite Airbus out of all the Airbuses, man. That thing felt like butter when I flew it.
And that
They
did
did a great
update
job.
today as well, by the way.
And I heard that it did update and the frames are like way better than it
Yeah.
used to be. So we got to jump in that and just go take it for a spin and see what it feels like.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I need to hop back in X-Plane to fly either the Tolus or the Flight Factor because the Flight Factor I haven't really been flying because of the FPS because I was always getting really bad FPS in the Flight Factor. I get double the amount in the Tolus, so I would avoid the Flight Factor at all costs. But because I know the last few updates have been mainly focused on performance, I kind of want to go back just to see, how does it feel? How does it perform my machine? And then as well is I think it's good if you do have multiple sims with multiple add-ons to jump back from Microsoft Flight Sim. Go to X-Plane, fly to some of the Airbuses. Same with PMDG, right? So we've been flying a 737. Go back to the Zebo, see how that feels. And, and then I think what's going to happen is you go back and either you're going to be like, you know what? This is actually better than I remember, right? And you're like, or you'll be like, nah, I think I'm gonna do this on Microsoft next time,
Exactly. But it's good to know that we have at least one or two planes now, Microsoft, that is good enough, man. And I know I'm using the word good enough
Oh boy.
to say, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I mean, I was impressed with it. I was impressed with the handling of the plane. It didn't feel cartoony, it didn't feel floaty, it didn't give you that, okay, airplane, we need to push the nose over to get you down. It felt like you had to fly this down to the runway. You understand? And I found myself even giving the damn thing rudder inputs on landing too, which I never do.
Yeah,
To get the nose straightened up.
What's crazy is
That's
I found myself using rudder inputs and it didn't overcorrect as bad as usual.
Yep, definitely, man. So, yeah, that's it. I think where it's there, man. It is absolutely there, with how they did it, and they obviously they spent the time and just ironed it out. Good, they had real pilots on board, talking them through it or whatever, showing them how it should feel, and then absolutely, man, Katie Pilot is a real pilot, plus a bunch more people. I was watching V1. I was rewatching V1's stream, and he goes, "So far, I didn't find any buttons in here that didn't work," which is like a good thing. Yeah, I mean, this is what I like. I like a plane that's above my abilities, but I can still get it to work. I could still get from point A to point B. Is what I'm saying? It's feature rich. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I completely like that and agree with that. So that is just Man, oh man. Now, if we're gonna talk about Fenix, let's talk about a couple of things because I don't know if it's me, but I'm so used to seeing the Microsoft shininess, and I don't get that with Fenix. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm waiting for third-party livery makers to come out and drop some liveries on flightsim.to and see what they can do. Yeah, I mean, because just looking, it's funny. I'm looking through one of the windows now, and it's like smudges all over the glass, like somebody touched the glass inside the inside glass, and it's not on all of them. They've randomized the smudges on the glass depending on the lighting. Anyway, but I want to see some new liveries for this thing. I want to see some other people do some re-rendering of some liveries on this just to see. You know, this airplane is showing its age, I must say, which that's on purpose. When I did the walk around with it with the drone cam and was looking at all the grime underneath, I was like, yeah, this 320 has seen some life, man. It surely has, you know, and it's all there. It's excellent, you know. But I want some new liveries, though. Somebody was asking about liveries earlier. We even talk about that. This thing comes with a livery manager.
Yes, it
And
does.
how many liveries came with it?
We were told it's like 200 plus on release day.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what I noticed, and what you guys will notice as well when you get into Delivery Manager, is that they started out with, I don't know what word to use here, but let's just say authentic liveries. And when I say that, it means liveries that match the engine type that's released so far. I don't speak for them, but I know that, or at least I think there's going to be another engine coming. You know what I mean? Because right now these are the CFMs, I believe.
Right.
And then there is also the other popular IAE engine. And so they've made basically a bunch of liveries of A320s with CFM engines, but all the IAE engines are missing. So, or IAE engine liveries are missing. So like JetBlue, like Spirit, like United. And that's the reason why you're missing all those. But what's going to happen though, like you said, on Flight Sim TO, people are going to be like, so, I don't care. Let's go throw some Spirit on there. Let's throw some United on there. You know, I mean, let's just be honest. Think about it. We've been doing that already in the 320 Neo. United ain't got no Neos. I'm sure there's a ton of European airlines that we have liveries for that we've been flying a 320 Neo with, and they don't carry Neos either. So until we get, you know, the correct engine to match the correct livery, you know, people are going to want to add their favorite airlines. So they're going to be, you know, all the airlines are going to come. I'm looking forward to that. Personally, I care, but also don't care. So, you know, I'll still definitely jump in and fly some deliveries. We did the same thing happen with the Tolus, I believe. It was kind of like that because I think they only had one. I think Flight Factor only have one engine, I think, at one point. So, you know, I would rather go ahead and go for it than wait for the correct engine to match delivery and all that kind of stuff like that. But yeah, I believe IAE is coming. And I wonder when they bring that, are they going to bring an engine pack with that as well? Or is it only going to be a 3D model with liveries? So I don't know. We haven't talked about sound yet, but I just want to toss that out there.
And no, it did not come with a Southwest Airlines livery, okay, Jeff?
Thank God. Thank God.
These liveries go way back. I'm looking at a 1993 livery with a registration number, November 305. Uncle Sierra. That's an old Northwest livery. I mean, that's pretty good.
They had the US. Anyway, I really like the U.S. Airways liveries.
Yeah, they got some liveries in here. U.S. Airways is nice from 05. That's good. Let's jump into the sounds, man. Sounds.
Let me kick off sounds.
Sunday.
Let me kick off the sounds. You guys know I am a sucker for sound. Like, it could be the most beautiful aircraft ever, but if it sounds like crap, it kills it for me. Sound is a major part of my personal, like, really getting into it. And they did their freaking thing with this plane. I mean, let's start with the ground power unit. Like, I'm not sure if you noticed this, XP. I'm pretty confident you did. But when you get close to the ground power unit, you hear it. I mean, the ground power unit actually has a sound on its own. So if you get rid of it, it's gone. And then once you click on the external power button inside the cockpit, that ground power unit raises up in RPM and it gets louder. And like just that little detail right there is like they could have just left it the same, right? And then obviously the engine startup I think sounds great. I wouldn't change anything. I mean, maybe, I mean, you know, you could always change something, but I wouldn't change really anything in the engine startup sound. The engine idle sound, the engine sound from inside the engine, I'm sorry, inside the cockpit, like the hum during idle. Oh my God. The bass, I mean, sheesh. It's the APU startup sounds, the brake fans. What else? There's actually the avionics fan as well. If you stand next to the not the intake, but the what do you call it? Where it comes out, where the air comes out of the avionics fan, it has actual sound and it sounds like the real thing.
Wow. Oh yeah, I mean, no, the avionics or the APU?
No, the avionics.
Avionics.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's
The
on the right
trim air or
side
whatever.
of the fuselage in the front by the cockpit underneath. It's like a
Oh, that's
hole.
where you work, so you know where that
Yeah,
is.
yeah. There's a hole there, and it blows air out, and it comes from the avionics, and
Wow.
it makes a sound, and that
Mm.
sound is included into the sim. Yeah, and I mean, as well as even the hydraulic sounds you hear when the cargo doors open and close, which is, you know, it's not new. Other sims and have incorporated that, but still, it's like this things like that you gotta include. The clicking sound of the engines when they're windmilling. Um,
Mhm.
that's super dope. I mean, anything else that I missed that you caught, XP?
Oh, one of my favorite sounds is actually just doing I liked this is I never thought I would ever say this. I actually enjoy doing I did two walkarounds. Well, we just got to the airplane and we did a walk around before we left Charlotte. And the AP the pack sound, that
Yes.
whine is legit. Like I remember being on the ramp when I used to be a flight attendant, going out there and talking to the ground crew and stuff, or walking across the tarmac to an airplane that's ready to go out there in the middle of nowhere, and hear those packs fire up. Whee! It sounds. You got the whining sound and the air rushing sound. Those are the things that's like, yes, that sound is legit, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Really and truly. Yeah. Equipment cooling exhaust, says Andy M. That's what it's called.
That's what
That's the
it's
word we're looking
called.
for.
Thank you very much.
Equipment cooling. There you go, man. So
um,
yeah, that is good for me. And also, forget that, I had my cockpit windows open for for taxi.
you know what? I forgot to do that. I
Come
didn't
on,
open the
man.
cockpit window.
Do you know the minute you crack the cockpit window on this, you hear outside ambient sounds?
I did not know
You hear
that.
you hear cars and baggage carts and noise and wind and everything.
Wow.
As soon as you crack the window by clicking on the handle, it pops open just a tiny bit. You hear sound starts coming in.
Wow.
And so if you start the engine up, you will hear that. Oh, let me tell you something. You want to talk about detail? Guys, whoever owns this aircraft, Blue, you can probably do it right now. Go inside, pop the cockpit window latch, and you know when you're sliding back and you hear the clicking sound because it's riding over that Gus lock or whatever that lock is?
Uh-huh.
Every time it rides over it, the little switch that you flip to close the window moves.
Wow.
No, just go look at that. The animation on that is
Yo,
spectacular.
I gotta do it now. Let me bring it up.
Do it.
I
Just
gotta
do it
do
right
it now.
now.
I don't
That's
have
detail.
sound coming in, I don't think,
You get the
from the
sound.
sound. You want the sound?
Just
Okay.
slowly, doesn't matter with the sound or not, just slowly move the window back. Every time it clicks, it moves the little switch over and over. I regret not looking at the trim wheel movement. Let me see something here. I regret not looking at the trim wheel movement when I was flying because I wanted to see what the trim wheel was doing.
All right, how do I get this
If they
window
got
open?
So click
There it
the
is.
the
Got it.
handle at the back. Click the handle at the back.
All right,
Just-
I got
no,
it.
the
Here we
handle.
go. I'm opening it.
Okay, and slowly slide it back and look at the little just grab it anywhere. Grab that anywhere. Okay. You can hear the sound. Look down at the little clip right
Yeah, I
there.
see it.
Every time you move it and slide it, the clip slides. You gotta click it again and move it forward. All right, so click that.
Oh,
move
click
the
this
window
first,
forward.
and then
Yeah, to move it forward. Yeah, to close it, you gotta click that to move it forward. So hit that right there. There you go. Now, slowly move it, and every click you hear, that moves. Just zoom in on that.
you have to
You see
actually
that?
click on it to move it back in position too.
Close it. Yeah. So that's I guess that's called a Gus lock,
Uh,
so that the window doesn't slide forward or something like that when you're
Yeah.
moving. But when you're opening the window, every time you slide it just an increment, you'll see it move back and forth. So it's riding over like a ratchet or something like that.
that is
Just
so dope.
look down at it when you hear the little clicking sound that
Yep,
you'll
I
see.
see it.
Yeah, that's detail. You
That is
understand? That's
detail.
what works in real life. Imagine if Hot Start made an airliner. That would be good Ricky's work.
Bro, if Hotstar made an airliner, it will be this and some.
It would take him 4 years, but yeah.
It,
But if you
it'll take
open
him
it,
like 6 years.
yeah. But if you open the cockpit window doing startup, you hear some different sounds, man.
That's cool.
Different sounds.
Yeah, right now I didn't have, I don't think
Yeah.
anything turned on. We're just on ground power. That's it.
Jeff said that the Fenix livery is actually the only dev livery he wants to fly because it looks good.
I'm not, you know what? That is so freaking true. Like, I legit hate, no offense to all my favorite developers, but I legit hate all y'all's liveries. But Fenix got a dope livery. I love the Fenix livery. I think it's so cool. Like, this is probably the only livery I would actually fly from a developer.
Yeah. It's a nice livery. Somebody should make a Fenix airliner real. The lettering is big, is the right size.
Yeah.
It's huge, and then the tail just look like fire, man.
It is fire.
And then the wing fences with the orange on it. It's pretty good. Yeah.
The wing fences, yeah, they're dope as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Greg says I've never thought I've seen a release this polished right off the bat. And I know why now, because behind the scenes, man, the attitude of these guys and the spirit of these guys shows in their work. You know, dealing with Fenix, you know, even way back when did we had Fenix on the podcast, guys?
We did.
Guys, you need to go back and watch the Blu-XPerience with Fenix when we had him on maybe, a year ago or less than that?
Yeah.
And we did the interview. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go play that podcast. It's on Spotify now. It's on iTunes. It's on YouTube. I'm gonna go play that interview with Amir that we had and see if everything he said came through. I'm gonna go
That's
check
a good
it.
idea. I'm gonna do the same.
That's
I'm
a
gonna go
good
back
idea.
and watch
Yeah.
it, listen to it, and
Yeah.
be like, all right, let's see if you guys came, like, because he was talking really highly of it. Obviously, that's his job.
Yeah. Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, did they come out with everything that they talked about? Did they miss anything? Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be real good.
Yep. Yeah, man. Seems like their outlook is focused on quality and the monies will follow. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that sentiment right there.
Let the
So,
aircraft
anyway.
speak for itself.
Do for itself. So we have covered sound, we have covered modeling, we have covered have we covered frames?
We did. We covered performance.
We've covered performance. No bad surprises at all. No bad surprises that I can think of at all with this thing. I think, it's going to be fun a lot, put it that way. And I'm going to enjoy flying this particular Airbus because of all the work it makes me have to do. A lot of times you spend in the MCD, now you have to spend a lot of time in the EFB for the METAR, the flight plan, the performance, and everything like that. And I haven't even used it. I did quick boarding, but you can set your boarding to, real time, which is like 30 minutes, or fast, which is like 9 minutes. That's there as well. There's some slider windows for the passenger numbers. I didn't even saw that until the second leg, But yeah.
Wait, what? Slider what for the passenger what?
Oh yeah, there's a slider window for passenger numbers to add the numbers and stuff. Oh yeah.
Oh, wait, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh
what?
boy. Oh yeah.
Wait,
if you
what?
go to the Fenix app, go to mass and balance, and then click on planned versus boarded, and there's sliders there you can adjust for passengers, cargo, and fuel. Did you know that?
Let's find out.
There.
I don't know if I
There
knew
it
that.
is, right there. You can
Mass
do
and
it.
balance,
Yep, you could.
and there's a slider.
Right. Captain Geo wants to start some stuff.
Oh, there
Geo's
is a
like,
slider.
Geo said, so is it that for explaining, lol? Let me go somewhere. Stop it, Geo. Stop it, man.
Wow.
Do you think Fenix will ever make their EFB available as an add-on on any plane? I'd definitely buy it, kind of like you can use the Avatab somewhere. Greg.
This is a good point. Why,
Yeah.
on X-Plane, it's become pretty popular and even universal to use Avatab, which is its own standalone third-party app, and incorporate that into other aircraft. What's been happening on Microsoft Flight Sim is that instead of there being one tablet, everyone's making their own. Would it save time? for developers, for just somebody like a fly-by-wire, like a Fenix, like a whoever,
Hmm.
to just make a tablet for those who don't want to make their own
Yeah, something like that.
and just integrate it,
I don't
like
know.
just make an
Yeah.
API that they can integrate into their own. Now, I mean,
Yeah.
on that note, we've seen a few EFBs now. What is
Hmm.
your, which is your favorite setup so far? I mean,
Mm.
let me talk about the options. So PMDG doesn't have one yet, so they're not on the
Hmm.
table. Uh, the Mad Dog did have an EFB.
Hmm.
Phoenix has an EFB. Fly by
Hmm.
Wire has an EFB. I think that's
Hmm.
all of what. Oh wait, Aerosoft
C-
CRJ has an
CRJ has an
EFB.
EFB.
Um,
X-Plane's got the Avatav, and the Flight Factor has its own EFB, of course,
yeah.
as
Well, let's
well.
just stick with Microsoft though
All right,
for
cool.
now.
Um,
Yeah, and this is excluding. This is airliners only. So this is excluding a lot of the other ones because I know I've played. A lot of the GA planes have EFBs as
right.
well as the BAE 146 has a really nice EFB. So I mean, not discounting those, but this is kind of comparing. I guess you could say like the big few EFBs that are out. What do you think of the ones that you've tried?
I, I like the CRJ because you can send the data, the speed data over to the plane.
Hmm.
I like that. I don't remember what the MD-81 is like, to be honest, because I've only flown an airplane twice. But the most memorable one right now is this one right here. Because I haven't even gone through everything in this EFB. You understand?
Yeah,
But this is
yeah.
most memorable. Here's why. Font size. Let's look at it from a graphical perspective. The font size is perfect. It's large. The click spots are big, right? The font colors, the grayscale or the white scale or the reds and oranges, good, right? What else? The layout, everything is right where you're supposed to be. I've seen tablets get to the point they have so much functions, I don't even know where to find what anymore. You understand? So whoever did this, for instance, the My Flight page where you can rotate between your weather, your route, and your flight,
Yeah.
and import from SimBrief right there, or look at it at the map, or look at the METAR. Then they have the ground services tab, where you can the doors. Look how big those buttons are. You're not like fishing around and squinting your eyes to see it. The pushback tug is so simple. Just connect, push back left and right. I've used it today, and I'm used to my toolbar pushback. The reason why I didn't have toolbar pushback today is because they are advising us not to use it because it's causing memory leaks with this or the airplane or something like that. So I took out toolbar pushback. I used this pushback. It was actually pretty simple. It's actually pretty simple to use. And it worked. I didn't. It wasn't a mess. I was looking for something with a rudder pedals to use, but I actually prefer this. It's very simple. You know what I mean? The weight and balance screen, a lot of times I go into airplanes and they confuse the crap out of me. This doesn't, because you can click on that planned window and just move your sliders for the passenger amount, the cargo amount, and the fuel amount, and you get your planned fuel and you get your zero fuel weight right there. Boom, done. You understand?
Yeah,
And then,
yeah, I see it. Zero
yeah, and
fuel at the bottom.
you hit load the airplane, and it asks you if you want to do a real time or not. And there's a passenger list info. I haven't even looked at all the passengers on the airplane to see who is flying.
That one
You
is
know,
really cool. I mean, it's
yeah,
not important, but it's just really just I don't know, just little things like that. Just kind of like, oh, that's
right,
cool. Like it's, we're doing a 3 hour, 4 hour flight. Let's go take a look and see who's on the plane. Let's go through here through
yep,
the passenger list. It even has different people who have different statuses. Like if they've been flying for a while, they might be gold or silver or key corporate. It'll also mention if somebody is an infant. Like right here, I'm looking at one. It says with an infant, which is something that they do really in real life count. They
right.
count how many infants are on board, how many kids even are on board, and then they also count how many people have wheelchairs. So the flight that I'm loaded up in here on the video, there's actually no wheelchairs, surprisingly,
Right.
but there are a few infants on board. So
Yeah, it's good.
that's really cool.
Absolutely good, man.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think as well as when you're doing like I'm gonna do a bit of a test load since we're not even flying. Just you'll actually see people start to populate the seats as time goes by, which is
Oh,
really
really?
cool. Yeah,
I didn't notice that. What?
that's because you did instant load.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. So look, I've always said, I'll repeat it again. Airbuses are boring, whatever. But this gives you like something else to do, man. The only thing that's missing right now is like a web browser, so I can watch another streamer stream while I fly. Yeah, I mean,
That's
but
all we're missing.
but
Uh,
flightsim.tf, man, them guys might pop one in here.
you never
You know what
know.
I mean?
Phoenix, you know
You
what?
never
Y'all
know.
should add a browser
Hmm.
tab. Like, I know it sounds pointless. I know it
Yeah, I
does.
know. Yeah,
But
I could come in here and file my flight plan, sim brief directly in
yeah, you
here.
jump right in the sim brief, make a flight plan in there. Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
100%
I
agree with
agree.
that.
I
What do
agree.
you think about the like kind of like a delayed system or departure time system? What do you think of that, or do you think anything of it?
The delayed departure time system, you mean like when it tells you that the time counting down on it?
Yes.
Yeah, it adds pressure to you. I heard V1 said it today. He goes, it's the first time in a simulator because it's so modeled and you have all that stuff and the departure time stuff that he actually felt pressure to hurry up and set up the airplane and leave.
Yeah,
It gives
yeah.
you like a reference to say, hey man, you're running out of time, bro. Maybe we need to do that, Blue, because whenever we stream, we don't get off the ground till
We
like 40, 50
always
minutes.
take forever. That's the reason
Yeah.
I kind of like Pack X because you have to
Hmm.
set a time to leave. And when you see
Yeah.
that time counting down, you're like, all right, let me stop messing around looking at camera views. Let me
Hmm.
go ahead and get the FMC set up. So yeah, I actually, it's something we're not used to. It's something that's extremely common in real world aviation. You're
Right.
always looking at the clock. You're always not always in a rush, but you're always on the clock. You know what I mean? And in flight sim, we just take our merry time. We don't think about it too much. We don't think
Yep.
about getting somewhere on time. We don't think about leaving on time. But in real world aviation, that is one of the
Hmm.
major things. You'll get fired, right? Like if you're not on time. And
Yes.
so it is cool that they incorporated that right there in the sim. I think the thing for me is understanding when I file a flight plan on SimBrief to put the correct time. Because for me, I just make a SimBrief flight plan like
Right.
and then it's like, oh, you're late. I'm like, well, I didn't choose a
Well,
time, but it is good you can go in and at least make a change.
here's your challenge. You know what time you're going to start streaming and give yourself 35 minutes to get off the ground, 40 minutes. Yeah. And go with that. Stick with that. So if the chat's getting out of hand and ask you tons of questions, say, hey, I can't talk to you right now. I got to set the airplane and push.
It
Because
also
they do
gives you an
they
extra
do pull the jet
challenge.
bridge too.
It gives you
And
an
they
extra
pull the jet
challenge.
bridge.
What did they
Hmm.
say?
They pull the jet bridge as well. When it's done,
They
they
do.
pull the jet bridge.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. So it's like a game within a game.
Yeah.
Because yeah, once boarding is done, the jet bridge gets pulled from the airplane. You're like, holy crap, they're ready to go. They're serious. They're not waiting around.
They're waiting for you,
Man.
man. They're waiting
Yeah.
for you. If there's a
Hmm.
delay, the delay is on you. And if it's delays on you, the airline's gonna come at you like, "What's up, man? Why you got all these delays?" So yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. So,
yeah. I
but yeah.
always struggle, and I salute all the guys who flight sim and are able to get off the ground in 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. Every time I do, that's why I got a two flights, two legs, and take me 5 hours because we on the
Right.
ground for three of them.
Wait a minute. I'm done. Do you
What?
know the
Uh-oh.
passenger info, the airplane icon? You can click on each individual seat that there's somebody in it will tell you who that is.
Nuh-uh.
Did you know that?
I
Oh,
don't know. We're
yes.
about to find what?
Go take a look. Yes, exactly.
All right, we're gonna take a
Yeah.
look. Let's see.
We're
So
finding
all
out more here.
right, so we got people loading out. We have 25 boarded out of
Okay. Click on
162.
just the individual ones that are
I'm gonna
already
click on that guy
seated.
in first class.
No, just no, click on it. Click
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it,
So
his
I
name.
just did. I just clicked on it.
It should pop out.
Andromache
Blue, there it is.
Sehauser.
Look at
Status
that.
blue. Cabin class business.
Exactly.
Special info none. That's crazy. I did not know you could do that. That's crazy. Get this poor person in the middle seat back here behind the wing.
Yeah.
Sad. We're in third low, also in economy. Status blue. That's
Hmm.
dope, man. So one thing I
That
actually
is
mentioned in my
dope.
stream was that I think it'd be really cool if you could actually like edit the database of these names. And for people who are streamers, you could like input a bunch of member names or something like that, right? And go down through
Yep.
your passenger manifest. I'm like, yeah,
It would be
this is this
nice.
guy. He's been a member for 3 months. You know what I mean? He's sitting in
Yeah.
first class. That'd be dope, right? That'd be really
It would be
cool.
nice. And whoever checks into your chat and types in a particular code will get automatically added to the list here in the EFB.
Hey, Fenix, I
Wow.
mean, you're proving right now anything is possible.
There you go.
I believe in you. That's all I'm going to say.
Nice,
I
man.
believe in you.
Wow. Hmm. Oh, yeah. But folks, I'm telling you, man, let's see what time is it, quarter after. But um, let me go back to this rating scale. Release out of 10 scale. This release was a 9 out of 10. Easy. This release is a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, for me,
And
it's 8 out of 5. 8.5 out of 10. That's me. I mean,
8.5.
it's 8 point. It's pretty high. I still believe that's high.
Yeah.
And I think for me, where the thing keeping it from becoming, I mean, I don't think anything is a 10, but the thing keeping it from becoming higher for me is currently performance.
Okay. I got you.
Performance and a few other things that are not necessarily essential to a complete aircraft. Yeah, but they did already go above and beyond for sure. And I love what you
Right.
said earlier about how, oh, it's just another Airbus coming out. But no, they've added some features to it to make it not just another Airbus. They
Hmm.
easily could have been like, all right, we got to all like the system depth they went through in this aircraft that we don't even understand how to touch, right? Like just that, like they could have made the deepest simulation A320, but without the EFB, without some of these just kind of user experience additions, it would just be another Airbus, and we'd be like, oh, this is cool, it looks good, it sounds good, but it just kind of would be dull at the same time, right? It's just like it's just another Airbus, but
Yep.
they
Yep.
put that flair on it. They put that spice on it. They put that the extra, the EFB just adds so much to it. The flair they added to it, just it's just hard to explain. But the little things like opening the windows, the cabin, all that kind of stuff really just adds that flair to it to make it feel like this is not just another Airbus. Like I don't feel like I'm just flying another version of the fly-by-wire. I'm flying a completely different aircraft.
Well, here's a question for you to answer. Somebody asked in chat, what did you give the PMDG out of 10?
I give it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, the PMDG, to help you guys with scale, Mad Dog, the MD80, got a 7 from me personally on my
Okay.
scale.
Right.
PMDG has an 8, solid 8 at the moment. It might get higher when I see the 800. We'll see.
Okay.
And this one has an 8.5 because I believe it is
Okay.
just slightly better.
I think that's what I said too. I think I gave it an 8.5, but I give this a 9. This
Yeah,
has the
yeah.
edge over that for me.
Mhm.
Somebody, I'll take this question. Somebody says, what do you think about the price comparison between PMDG and this plane? I don't say it. There's no comparison. At $61 versus, was it $75? I mean, we're getting on par airplane at $15 cheaper. You understand?
Mhm.
So if you compare both of them, and let's say both of them are on the same level of, sim study level or high fidelity, just the fact that it's $15 cheaper is ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, they knocked the price out of the park. It's a surprise to me. I thought it'd be more expensive, and
Yeah, I was
you know,
expecting like
yeah,
85,
yeah, I was
somewhere in
expecting
that
85.
mark.
So definitely, you know what I mean. But it's more an entry for people to get in. It's a lower bar for entry. You can't, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But Ricky's World says PMDG, to their defense, gave 3 variants. They gave the BBJ and they gave the cargo. That is true.
that is very
Ricky hasn't
true.
thought about that. That
That
is
is
very true.
very
You
true. And
got you
they
got 3
each
planes
have
to
different
price of one.
cabins.
True, true, true. Ricky, see, that's why we have you in chat, Ricky. That's not bad. I'll yeah, you know. Hmm.
Hmm?
Was it $15 more? I don't know, but we did get 3 variants.
The three
Well, they are going to
variants.
give us they are going to give us the IAE for free, engine variant wise. Is there cargo A320s out there? I don't think so.
Probably, but
Yeah,
not as common as the Boeings.
right. Somebody wants to know what would be a 9 for blue.
What would be a 9?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet in Microsoft.
I haven't seen it yet. Okay,
I haven't
I
seen it
got you.
yet. I haven't
It's got
seen
to
the
have
9.
frame, sounds, texture, quality, and just knock your socks off.
Basically, if I give it a 9, it's probably a 10 for most people.
I got you. I got you.
Like to get over 9 for me is it had to be perfect. Dang near
Right, right,
perfect to
right,
get a
right.
9. I've lowered my scale, or not lowered it, but I've like stricken my scale because I'm like, if you really want a 10, you have to get it. You have to get in there.
You got to work for it.
But yeah, so like I said, this is 8.5 because a few reasons. PMDG I think is an 8. I think both. You guys have seen me. I love both of these aircraft. I love them, I really
Right.
do. But yeah, I think it's 8, 8.5. Sorry,
Good. Wow, what rating would you give the MD80? Oh boy,
7.
7. Okay.
It's
Yeah, MDA needs a little more fine tuning. There were some issues with the sound and so forth, being too quiet in the cockpit. We're gonna jump back into that and fly that one of these days and see how that works out. But yeah, guys, starting today. Today is the 19th of June,
is it
and
June,
we have
May.
yeah,
It's May.
May 19th of May. I'm sorry, 19th of May,
Like, what?
and we have added one more plane in the hangar for Microsoft Flight Sim, and we're very pleased with this plane, Fenix
Yeah.
A320. Definitely. Wow,
It's
wow,
gonna
wow.
be hard to return back to
Exactly,
X-Plane for a while.
exactly.
It keeps getting harder. That's really what it is. It
Yeah,
just keeps getting
getting
harder. We got
harder.
Top Gun
Yeah.
release coming up next week too. I know not all of you guys are into fighter jets, but for those of you who are, that's some more
Hmm.
goodies for you. We got a world
Oh yeah.
update that came out last week. It's just they just keep hitting us with content, man.
Yes.
They
Yes,
just
they
keep
do.
hitting us. It's just there's so much to do, so much to enjoy in the sim. And before I was always kind of promoting, hey, just I know that we're still waiting for airliners, but there's so much more to enjoy in the sim. And I think now that we
Right.
have a couple airliners, with these airliners, there's still even more now to enjoy, right? So it
Hmm.
just keeps building on top, on top, on top. So it's
Yep.
it's a good time. I'm gonna keep saying this is such a good time to be in flight sim. It's hard for the wallet. I had a really interesting question in my stream today, and I would like to ask XP this. I'm not sure if he had the same
Oh,
question. It's
go
a
ahead.
very tough question. It was if you had neither. I think you know where this is gonna go. If you had neither PMDG 737 or the Fenix, and you could only afford to get one of them, which would you buy?
Ooh, I got that too. I got that twice today.
Oh boy.
Wow. Ah, my word. Personal preference in airplanes would always be the Boeing first to me, the 73, because I just love the 737 and the old school tech, meets new school. But the fly-by-wire just making its case on this plane goes, hey, hold on a second, rethink your options over there, buddy. We're still here. Hmm. Well, okay, it's gonna come down to this. Would I rather use the yoke or the side stick? These two planes are so close that it's hard to choose, but I'm gonna take my yoke any day, man. I'm gonna take my yoke, and it's not because of PMDG or Fenix. It's just because I like a yoke flying. But this airplane right here has raised the bar for Airbuses in my eyes. For me personally, I will be flying this plane a lot.
Yeah, and I
Like,
think
yeah, it
I'm
it, it
in a similar boat.
definitely.
I'm in a similar
Hmm.
boat, but it's not so much because of the yoke, and it's not even for me to do with my preference of Boeing or Airbus. It's just the fact that we already have a free quality. I must say it, a free quality Airbus. And
Yep.
if I can only pick one, I'm gonna go with the Boeing because I don't have it, and that gives me
Right.
the diversity to actually fly a Boeing 737 and an A320, and then hopefully after that I can save up and get an A320, right?
There you
But I
go.
think for a lot of people going forward, it's not going to be maybe a price problem. It's not going to be a quality problem because both aircraft are great and they don't even need to be compared. But
Hmm.
I think it's going to come down to a preference thing because some people are just Boeing people. That's what they love. If it ain't Boeing, they ain't going. And some people
Yep.
are Airbus people, and you can't take that from them. If you're an Airbus person, this is a must-have aircraft. If you're a
Yep.
Boeing person, then the 737 is a must-have aircraft. That's an obvious choice. Now, if you're like
Hmm.
me, where you're neutral in most ways, and either or, I feel like both of them are a must have aircraft for you. I think everyone should have both these aircraft in their hangar. Like no matter, even if you're not even in the Airbuses, even if you're not into Boeings, I think you need to have both. You need to have at least one of the Boeing 737s because a lot of them coming. It's 800, 900, 600, but you need to have at
Hmm.
least one of them in your hangar. And then for the Fenix, you need to have well, it's only one of them, so you
Yeah,
need to
you
have
need to
it in
have
your
this.
hangar as well. I'm hoping
Absolutely.
because Phoenix has done such a good job. I'm hoping that they'll continue on top of this success and build a 321 and build the different variants of Airbuses. And I'm hoping to see more Phoenix's name in the future on more projects because this is good. It's really
Yeah,
good. This is the
it's really
first
good.
product we've seen from this developer. PMDG's been around a long time, so we all know what to expect. With Phoenix, we didn't really know, but they really were able to communicate that hey, we know what the heck we're talking about. We come to play, and I think they've fully delivered on that.
Yes, absolutely. And that right there, my friends, will be the last word. I can't even say anything better than that. Blue wrapped it up succinctly for us here.
There
A
it
little
is.
spot poll I did in the chat says, will he be getting this plane? Let me end the poll. 84% of people says yes, they're grabbing this airplane.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, 84%. 116 people voted on that. So wow, wow, wow. Guys, if you like this, we're going to be doing this kind of review or first look on the Blu-XPerience for all these airplanes that are coming out. Some of them are going to go long on, some of them are going to be like 5 minutes. I'm going to be like, no, don't get that plan. So,
But don't buy this.
if you like this, guys, we're going to be doing this a lot on the Blu-XPerience, man.
But let me just put a little taste of doubt before we bounce out. And I know we haven't mentioned this in the stream, but it's definitely in your head in the chat, and that is all of my P3D friends out there who are like, FS Labs is better. We'll talk about that more later when FS Labs brings something to the table. All right, so we'll leave it at that.
And they're coming. They're coming.
They're coming. They're watching, and I'm sure they're gonna come with it when they come. And I mean, we haven't played P3D or the FS Labs. We don't know what we're missing. We don't know what's up. But we shall see. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on Discord. We can keep the conversation going.
Wow. Well, ladies and gents, thank you so much for joining us on the Blu-XPerience. You can continue the conversation. I'm sure it's going to be continued on Discord, on chat, all over the place. But this has been a good day for us in the sim community. Shout out to Fenix again, Amir and the crew. You guys did a bang-up job on this. This was great. Thank you so much for this release and what you've done for us. So we shall see you guys again. Blue, as you always say.
Until next time, remember you have 3 choices: give up, give in, or give it all. You got peace, love, and God bless you. We'll see you guys next time, next Blu-XPerience. Thank you guys for checking out episode 27. We out, just thing. See ya.
Later. Bye.